Hello, my friend. It's your girl. Welcome back to another episode. Today we are drinking a severed lime liquid death. To me, it tastes like a healthy Sprite without the sweetness. Some of you might not agree with that, but I do love the liquid deaths. It's just canned water, and this one's sparkling. I also have this Starbucks drink. This is an iced pistachio latte with light ice and half sweet. If you haven't tried the iced pistachio latte or the pistachio cold brew, it's actually really good. I was surprised at how good it is. One thing you'll learn about me is I'm a gal who likes a variety of beverages at all times. I'll have water, tea, coffee, something else around me at all times. I like to stay hydrated. I also want to say, because we're addressing such a variety of topics on this podcast in the coming weeks, whatever resonates, that's your subconscious mind telling you that's the direction that you need to head, and you need to focus on that a little bit more, or you need to uncover what that might mean for you. If it doesn't resonate, leave it. Not everything's going to resonate with everyone, and that's totally okay. You can completely disagree with something I say. You can totally agree. Whatever. We're all just here chilling, having fun. And we're going to start having guests on the show as well, people who are young adults, people who are in a variety of different careers, right? We see on a lot of podcasts nowadays, celebrities are being interviewed. Well, I want to interview the everyday person who's relatively in our age group, who can speak on a variety of different career paths and choices and struggles and hurdles, from six-figure business earners to something a little bit more relatable, like somebody who is and or was struggling with their mental health. People who have overcome drug addiction. We have a guest coming on. Her name is Becca. She overcame a battle to opiates, and now she's a business owner. One of our friends, Lindsay, is coming on because she's a van builder. She's going to speak about the nomadic lifestyle for those who are interested in that. So just so you know, there's a variety of topics that are coming, and I'm so excited. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. All the information is going to be in the show notes below. So you have the opportunity to submit your questions so we can feature your question. You can get it answered, and you can have a little bit extra direction in that regard. Last housekeeping item. I thought it would be really fun to introduce every episode with a fun fact about myself, so you can get to know a little bit more about me without me drowning your life with facts about me. Maybe we can do a Q&A in the future. So your fun fact of the day is that I have vocal nodules. That is not necessarily a fun fact, but it is a fact in and of itself, and it actually sucks. Vocal nodules are calluses on the vocal cords. So while normal vocal cords close like this, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see what I mean. Mine have little calluses on them, so they don't close all the way. And this is due to vocal strain, which is not helpful for me as a motivational speaker and now podcaster. I've been going through this for 4 years and spent 2 years undiagnosed, not sure what was going on. So what that means is I lose my voice essentially every day. There was a period in time when I had to go on a month-long vocal rest. 2 weeks of that was zero talking at all. I had to walk around with a whiteboard and write down what I meant. I will say this. In that time, I realized, because I'm an extrovert and I talk a lot, too much at times, when I was on vocal rest, every time I had the urge to say something, when I would normally say something or contribute to a conversation, but I couldn't, I had the opportunity to be self-aware of that and take a mental note of that. And what I realized is that the majority of what I say, pointless. Literally, the majority of things that I say are not necessary at all. I just say shit, okay? And so I realized that I don't need to say so much stuff, and I can just be an observer. So it set me on this journey of becoming a better listener, and it's been great. I'm not perfect at it. I just have a lot to say. I got a lot going on in here. But if you are somebody who's like me, even if you don't have vocal nodules, maybe, just maybe, try to catch yourself before you say something. Maybe do it for a week and ask yourself, do I say a bunch of useless shit or no. And maybe you're totally not like me, but there's your fact of the day. I have vocal nodules. It's an ongoing healing recovery process. So today's topic is Adulting 101, essential life skills every young adult should know, every young adult should master. So we're going to go down a list. We're going to get as in-depth as we can within the time that we have here together today. And know that we are going to break up some of these sections into more in-depth singular topic podcasts in the future. But just as an overview with a little bit of in-depth information, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover some basic financial concepts that are crucial for you to get a good understanding of. We're going to talk about professionalism. So this is networking, this is job hunting, things of that nature, and what exactly is it you should be focusing your time on. We're going to be talking about time management, and we're going to be talking about cooking and nutrition. I know there's a lot more we could cover, but I want to make sure I give you enough value in those categories so that you have something tangible to take away. And stay till the end because I'm going to tell you how to access a free download that I have for you specifically on today's topic, so you know what we covered in this episode and you have it right at your fingertips. Without further ado, let's get started. So we're going to start by diving into the world of finances. This is the crucial backbone of adulting. And in this digital age where expenses and temptations are just one click away, it's essential that we start building these strong foundations now as early as possible. So before we get into exactly what that looks like, I need you to understand this. Us as young adults, for the most part, we want instant gratification. And that's the result of, yes, our still developing brains, but also social media. And we see things and we want them really quickly. Advertisements, things that clog our brains and our minds. Good, bad, and different, doesn't matter. We often don't look long term because when we think about long term things like retirement, if we were to pass away, right? We're like, that's not relevant to me because I'm not close to retirement. I'm healthy and young, and I'm not even there yet. I'm not even thinking that far in advance. I'm highly encouraging you to start thinking that far in advance, because the sooner you can set these financial foundations that we're talking about now, the more you'll grow your wealth over the course of your life. And I'm talking by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Grow your wealth just by starting a year or two earlier, right? And that's due to compound interest, your money making more money. And the earlier you start, it can compound by hundreds of thousands of dollars more by the time you retire. We need to start having a long-term look. For example, let me give you another example. If you want to buy a house, they want to see your tax returns over the course of 2 years. You need 2 years worth of tax returns that they average out to see what kind of home loan that you qualify for. You also need good credit. If you want to buy a house, it's already too late to start building your credit. The best time was 2 years ago. The second best time is today, but now you might have to push some of those other goals that you have for yourself out farther and farther because you didn't take the steps that you needed to, even if they weren't fun, even if they weren't sexy sounding, to set yourself up in a position to do so. So I encourage you now, take what I'm saying into consideration and be optimistic of how you can apply it to your life. One last example I'll give is emergency funds. Having a cushion of money there in the event of an emergency. And if you're like, I don't have time to figure that out, or I don't make enough money to set aside an emergency fund. Oh, but I'm going to get a dog. Well, what if that dog gets hit by a car and needs surgery? What if something terrible, God forbid, happens to that dog? Is now a good time to start saving? No, you need the money. You need the money already to help your dog. There was a Facebook post that I saw of this woman complaining about how veterinary offices don't offer payment plans. And the reason that they don't do that is because they have done it in the past and people weren't paying their bills. They were canceling their credit cards, whatever it is. But they had this surgery, this life-saving surgery done for their animal, and then they weren't paying for it. So veterinary offices don't do that. You have to pay in full and you have to pay up front. And while some people might say that's rude and cruel and inhumane, my personal opinion on the matter, I'm just speaking on my opinion, I can't speak for yours, is that I agree with them. Because if you cannot afford every aspect of that animal's life, not just the food and the dog brush and toys and whatever, but in the event something happens to that animal, you can't afford that animal because things happen. And I'm sure some of you have learned this lesson the hard way. Some of you haven't learned it and you're going to refuse to believe it. And some of you are going to take what I'm saying seriously and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's right. I need to start considering this.